whether you're hot to trot or cool cat or not, we are back with some Rev. About to say says Desu, but we know we're on the Rev channel. All right, let's see what it has to say. Cdawg is right about the anime community. I haven't seen this one yet. I'm gonna give him a like, though. We love Rev here. Let's get right into it.
So today I came across this clip from Connor, aka Cdawg VA, talking
Corn
about
dog.
the anime community and how it's drifted very far from what it used to be about 10 years ago. I think the shift in how people communicate about anime and also share their interest is very different, and it's also for the worse. Okay, I think anyone who looks at social media and how people talk about anime and how people have used this to attack people, to be
Guessing it's going to be about
tribalized,
the grifters and the people trying to
disconnect
censor
from
it.
people and demonize people, it's absolutely insane. And I'll talk about some of the reasons I think this all happened, but let's listen to some of this clip here from Connor.
Watching your fave animes back after a few years makes you wonder. No, I mean, look, we recorded the Refund Trashes episode where we didn't have
He's trying real hard to not say the wrong thing.
anime episode, should be out in 5 years. We talked about anime, and I think it was just a time that, like, obviously as I get older, I enjoy watching anime less, but I think 10 years ago,
Yeah, I get that.
that feels crazy to fucking say, that I used to watch anime 10 years ago.
We're old.
10 years ago, being in the anime community when it was a lot smaller was so fucking fun.
Oh my God, it was so much better. As someone who went through all of this and experienced things, even in an online setting and in real life as well, with, you know, sharing a bond over anime, things were so much better. Like, I don't think that's
Man, there were few things better than I remember when Naruto first came out. Yeah, I was there. I was there, man. I was there. Not in English, it was in Japanese. We had to download torrents from uTorrent to get the next episode from Japan with subtitles that were fan-made subtitles every single week when the new episode of the basic first season of Naruto came out. It was so hype, so jank, because of how it was back in the day. It was a lot harder to get your hands on anime episodes. It was a lot of fun, though.
nostalgia or, like, you know, member went. No, I think things were legitimately better about 10 years ago. And that's not just with the anime. I think that's the internet as a whole. Things have gotten so bad, so toxic, so divisive. You can't enjoy anything. Like, the bane of people's existence is seeing other people enjoy hobbies. No one can just say, well, I enjoy my anime.
That's sad because it's true.
You enjoy your anime, even though I might not like it, and we just go from there. We all love anime, so we should just get along. No, it's like, my anime is a 10 out of 10, yours is a 1 out of 10, and you should feel bad about it, and anything bad coming your way, you deserve it because you picked the wrong community or fandom to be a part of. And of course, there's been toxic sections of the anime community forever, just like any other hobby or medium out there, but things have gotten significantly worse. 10 years ago, you could have...
It's especially bad when you go to cosplay conventions and then you have the toxic communities from anime and the toxic communities from video games and the toxic communities from just like old cartoons or new cartoons. They're all mixing together.
Have actual discussions about things. You could have a little bit of nuance, but now, no way. So, like, I don't want to sound like a boomer, but like 10 plus years ago, things were so much different. It was so much more peaceful, so much more fun, but it's just really bad right now.
And like watching anime, and there was also less anime. So whenever you watched, like there was like 4 weekly anime that everyone would watch like 10 years ago. And I'm sorry to all the new gen that don't know this or weren't around to appreciate it. But like watching anime 10 years ago was so fun because basically everyone was watching the same 4 shows and then everyone would talk about the same 4 shows every like when they...
That was also helpful. You had a lot less to keep up with. Also, those 4 shows are still around today. Some of them aren't airing, like Naruto isn't technically airing, but they did get Shippuden and then Boruto, so it kind of offshoots. One Piece still around today. Bleach not still around today, but it lasted a long time, and it's still good today.
Came out.
I miss like the Kiss anime days, you know? Things were just so much more simple back then. We were all on the same page, but I get what he's saying. Like, the seasonal anime and stuff, that's just like always been a thing and continues to be a thing, but like, the main thing is like there's so much variety now. Like, you have a lot of people who are new to anime, and we'll talk about the new anime fans in just a second, but you have new people discovering the old and established franchises while there's new ones continuing to roll. Like, you know, the Dragon Ball fans out there, the Naruto fans out there, like, they're always going to keep churning out new fans constantly. So that basically makes a setting where everything's growing in terms of being mainstream. So the old stuff continues to produce new fan bases, and the new stuff is also producing new fan bases, and there's just so much out there nowadays. I think people are really segmenting themselves into fractured little communities instead of a general anime community where everyone's coming together and watching something or watching the latest new shows together and talking about them. Instead, it's very fractured right now and also very toxic.
Back when being online was kind of fun.
Ugh.
And now being online is stressful.
I've never related to anything
To be fair, I'm pretty sure it's because it's his job. That's why it's stressful.
more in my life. Yeah. Imagine having fun on the internet. Things used to be so different. I know. Boomer Rev moment right here. But things were just different. It was just so much more fun 10 years ago. Now, everything's stressed. You can get canceled or attacked for anything. And it's absolutely crazy. If you've been paying attention at all, you know this. And it's just, that's the reality we live in, unfortunately.
And very inflammatory. But then it was really cool, man, because you would just talk about it. I felt like people were a little bit more respectful, but then you don't always get that one guy that was like, the manga, here are the spoilers.
Yeah, I think the biggest problem back then was like elitists. Like that was like considered the toxic part of anime communities. Like, the person who's like angry at the anime onlys because they read the manga first. Things like that, or the person who's constantly nitpicking every little detail of everything going on.
Those have always existed. That's not a big problem. If you didn't run into one of those, it probably because your anime wasn't that good.
Whether it's like the anime itself, the manga itself, or the people enjoying it and how they view things. That was like the bigger issue. Nowadays, it's like, damn, if I post about liking this anime, am I going to get death threats on Twitter? Like, that's the reality now. It's so sad how bad things have gotten.
I don't know why I had to do a voice for that. It was a really fun time to be an anime fan, like, way back. It felt like all anime fans had an aligned interest of the anime that they watched, and people would obviously watch and catch up on the classics. But nowadays, I feel like there's so much anime coming out, and we talk about this so much on Trash Days, but, like, somebody like DBZ is not the same anime fan as somebody who's watching seasonal bocce free rent, and the same way that gaming is like that now. It's just become such a diverse and large group of fans that there is very little overlap between groups now. So it's really tough to like have that joy of being in that community, I feel like.
Yep, unfortunately became mainstream. Becoming mainstream is the worst thing that can happen to your hobbies. Obviously, anime's always been popular, but everyone knows things have changed, okay? Anime...
Yeah, once it becomes mainstream, all the people who want to exploit it for money or content or just a little bit of attention come in, and it really waters everything down and makes everything a lot worse.
It's more mainstream. It's cool to like anime nowadays. Back in the day, I could get you shoved into a locker for liking anime, but things have changed so much, and I think the big changing point a lot of people recognize is COVID. The pandemic, people were stuck inside. They're looking for something to do. They started looking at anime for the first time in their lives. Many people of which used to bully people for liking anime and things like that. And all of a sudden now, it's cool to like anime, and these people have invaded the spaces, and not every person who did this, who joined up with their interest in anime during the pandemic, is a bad actor. Of course not. But there is an undeniable reality that on social media, there is an enclave of awful, shitty people who now claim they're anime fans, and they're abusing their position as a fan to bully and harass people and act like absolute shitheads in the name of being a fan, when reality, they're basically just masking their bad intentions behind their feigned interest in an anime they might have watched.
Yeah, it was never about the anime. It was about them. And it was them trying to take center stage in something they didn't actually understand or care about.
Watch a few episodes from. It's a very bizarre scene on social media when it comes to anime, and I think COVID kind of created a very toxic portion of the community that has not been dealt with. It's only getting worse every single day. And like I said, if you've been paying attention to social media, you are aware of how bad things have gotten.
And so now it's more so like you kind of just watch with your friends and you talk about it amongst your friend group, which is fun, but also kind of sad because I don't know. You just feel like you have less reach. And
yeah, if you're only talking to your friends about it, there's nothing wrong with that. It's fun. It's a lot of fun talking to your friends about it. But some of the joy was finding new friends through talking about it.
You don't really meet new people, which was always really fun, I felt like, back in the day.
Well, yeah, I mean, you could go on to Twitter right now and say, like, oh, My Dress Up Darling is my favorite show. And despite tens of millions of people enjoying it across the world, you might get jumped. You might be a random user and you're going to get jumped. They're going to be screeching Epstein particles at you and, like, spamming you with, like, DBZ memes and stuff like that. It's just totally different. The scene's totally different and extremely toxic. But, yeah, that's pretty much the response to this. Things have changed, and I think it's largely for the worse. And I hate to be a doomsayer and, some boomer looking back on the past here, but it was better 10 years ago. It was a lot less stressful to be an anime fan, despite the fact it wasn't mainstream back then. But nowadays, yeah, things have just taken a turn for the worse.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Oh, was that the end? Okay, well, I guess that was it for Rev. That was a short video. Let me know what you thought about it. Let me know what you thought about mine down in the comments. I think Rev and Connor were both completely right about everything. It was better back in the day. Don't get me wrong, there's a lot of anime these days that are fantastic. I like Bofuri. It's very cute. I liked what was the last one I watched besides Bofuri? Something about a bunny girl. I can't remember what it is. No one could see her but the main guy, and basically all the girls were falling in love with him as he was helping them. I cannot remember the name of it. Let me know down below in the comments. Please, this is going to bother me all day. Bestow upon me your anime knowledge. Right, gonna go ahead and give Luke a like, and then we're going to react to him. Thanks for joining me for some Rev Reacts to Corn Dog, Virginia. Have a good one. Stay safe. Mwah.